It is Saturday in South Carolina.
Welcome to the first edition of the Saturdays in South Carolina podcast. Randy Cambites, Bryce Jeffcoat.
Yes, sir.
Lifelong South Carolina fans. Been around South Carolina athletics our whole entire life.
Right.
Fan my whole life. Bryce is now second generation Gamecock.
Yeah. And I'm a purebred.
Purebred.
Gamecock, yeah.
Yep.
Both parents.
Athletes of Carolina.
Carolina athletes, right. So,
All right. Introductions out of the way.
didn't have a choice.
Yeah. No
Go
choice.
Cox.
All right. What we're going to do in this first episode, we're going to break down South Carolina's football roster, position by position. And then we'll have another episode later this week. We'll do a game-by-game breakdown, and then we'll do our Virginia Tech breakdown.
Yep.
Because we're starting very late in the season.
There you go.
So, we'll start on the offensive side of the ball. Bryce,
Sure.
he's a college football coach, high school football coach.
There you go.
Knows the quarterback position better than pretty much anybody you'll find talking about football on the internet. South Carolina's got a very good one.
They got a good one. Preseason Heisman candidate. The lights probably could not be brighter for Lenore Sellers coming in. You already know there's no harder job in college football than being the quarterback of an SEC school. Maybe the only one is being the head coach of an SEC school.
Yeah.
In college football. So, ton of pressure, but I think the kid is collected. I think he's cool, calm, and collected, and I think we got a special one in Columbia.
Seems to be a very humble, down-to-earth guy.
Right.
He does all these NIL deals. You know, he's picked up T-Mobile today, which is just nuts to see South Carolina's quarterback in a T-Mobile ad. But it's almost like they have to force him to like do these things. Like
Right.
it's so hard to draw down. He's just real humble, down-to-earth guy. Watch him in the Netflix series, and he's like almost camera shy. And you kind of want your quarterback to be. He's very like when he crosses the line.
Oh, he's got the swag.
He has the swagger. He's not. It's the
he
perfect
certainly
mix.
does not have it.
Yeah, he has it. He has it in the way. I don't want to compare him to Tim Tebow, but like personality-wise, off the field, Tim Tebow's a saint, obviously.
Sure.
But on the field, Tim Tebow had that dog in
He
him.
had a dog, without a doubt.
And you cross that line, you know, Lenore Sellers. You see him up in Clemson spinning the ball on the field, flexing to the crowd. He's got that dog in him on the field.
And, biggest thing for Lenore's moving forward, things that he has to prove to NFL scouts, to stuff like that, is him being able to be, comfortable in a pocket when it comes to just throwing.
Yeah.
We all know that he can tuck it and run with anybody. One of the best in all of college football when it comes to what he can do with his legs. It's can he comfortably sit back there and deliver throws under duress instead of tucking it to, go and get 8, which is incredible. Can he hang in there and make a 25-yard ball? You know? So that's the biggest thing for him moving forward, which he can do. He's got to be able to do it consistently. And I think he's got to do that for Carolina to be successful. I think
so. It'll be very important. He's got one of the best mentors in the game, Mike Shula, calling plays for him.
There we go.
He was Cam Newton's guy. He's the guy who took Cam Newton from being a great rookie and a good young quarterback to, by 2015, he was the MVP of the National Football League.
Right.
As a Panthers fan, very familiar with Mike Shula's offense. Really excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a South Carolina fan and all you know is the Illinois Bowl game for Mike Shula's offense, trust me, it'll be better.
It'll get better.
It'll get much better. A full offseason. I mean, he was with us all last season, too. So, but a full offseason of being the guy.
And I hate how how college football does it with early signing for coaches.
Yeah.
They have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Early. It screws a lot of teams when it comes to their bowl games and I mean playoff teams. You've seen it before where teams have to end up with a whole new coordinator. And they're trying to win a national championship.
It's tough. Dow Loggins was a great. I really thought he was a really good offensive coordinator. I think he'll be great at Appalachian State, but. We got a proven play caller who knows how to call plays for Lenore Sellers. The rest of the quarterback room, a lot of potential. Luke Doty's in his 15th year of college football.
There you go.
We played high school football. I graduated in my last season was 17. I think yours was 18. And we both played against Luke Doty in various camps and such back in our day of high school football,
Absolutely.
which is just bananas that he's still around.
Oh yeah,
but it's awesome to have a veteran guy around.
How about that? Yeah, great guy, great person.
Yeah.
Did a lot of different camps with going through Ramon Robinson and the program, the quarterback program in the state, where Luke was Luke was a part of those, and he was great. He's just 1 year behind me. It is crazy. That
I was about to say, we say it as a joke, like we played against him, but like then you start breaking it down, it's like we really did, like we actually did. Like you are on your third year of coaching ball.
This is third year removed from
2
playing.
years coaching in college. Now you have a year coaching high school ball, and Luke Doty's still getting it done at South Carolina. So he'll be a guy. He'll pop up all over the field. He returned kicks for us last year.
Yep.
Same Beamer said the other day. If we have a QB2, or if Lenore's couldn't go, Luke Doty's the guy we're putting out there.
How about that?
Which is, I mean, it's just got to be a understanding of the offense type deal.
Sure.
Because no offense to Luke Doty, great quarterback.
Right. And we got
some
dogs
we got
some dudes
behind him.
Right
Cutter
on.
Woods. From Anderson, South Carolina, right up where you used to live, up in Erskine College.
That's right, West Side
High School. Both of us Camden High School alum.
Mm-hmm.
Our Camden Bulldogs got to go up to West Side, and
that was trouble.
we were real excited for that ball game. And Camden Bulldogs have had some really good teams, and they were a really good team last year. Great defense, but man, did Cutter Woods give it to them, didn't he?
Yeah, sure did.
I got a lot of texts out of that game, like, you know what, Cutter Woods might be.
He's the truth.
When Lenoris leaves, we might be all right.
Right.
Because Cutter Woods is an absolute demon. He gets to South Carolina, has a tremendous spring game to the point where people are talking about, like, it might not be a battle when Lenoir leaves. It might just be Cutter Woods' job.
There's something about those Ohio State transfer quarterbacks. So.
Nah, I'm telling you. Say Cutter Woods, he's a guy, but Aaron Nolan.
There we go.
5-star quarterback from Ohio State. He's I wouldn't compare him to Spencer Rattler, because he's not coming in to start right away, but it's the same concept of a 5-star quarterback who transfers into South Carolina, and a lot of hype around him. A lot of hype around him coming in. Knew he wasn't going to be the starter.
Sure.
Because Lenoris is such a dog, but he's not transferring here to sit next year.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, I mean, there's a lot of hype around him. I think and then we also signed Landon Duckworth to look down the road, who's going to be a dog. He's built like Lenore Sellers, big mobile guy. Next year, the quarterback room at South Carolina has as bright of a future as it has since Connor Shaw and Dylan Thompson were
both running the show.
Yeah, both in the
there are
room.
a lot of decisions that are going to have to be made moving forward, especially in the age of transferring. You're really going to have to be able to buy in and convince one guy that you are bought in, because people are going to shop.
They are.
They're going to shop, and I don't think, we were confident that Lenoris was bought in, but I don't doubt that he shopped.
Oh, for sure. So, there were rumors that $8 million NIL offers were coming in for him and such, and at this point he's got to be close to it with what he's done this offseason.
Sure.
So he's done a ton, Beats, T-Mobile,
Yeah.
Roback, all kinds of stuff have come in. So he's worth every penny, and the guy who inherits the room from him is they're going to be inheriting some deals as well.
Right.
So it'll be really exciting to see with the quarterbacks. I think the future is very bright at quarterback for South Carolina.
I agree.
A position which just today, the vision got a lot brighter.
Yes.
We got our news. Sewell is free. Rosh Sewell facing.
Free Sewell, and he's
will
free.
Be the starting running back when we jog out there on Sunday
Yeah.
against Virginia Tech. He'll be the one, which is super Utah State guy who was just a demon. If you're a college football freak like we are, you watch some exotic college football games at crazy hours of the night, and I've watched some Utah State football, and Russell Faison is a dog. He's a dog. He, well over 1,000 rushing yards last year, and albeit in the Mountain West Conference, which is not known for playing great defense,
right?
But it's the same conference that Ashton Jeanty was toting the ball in, and he almost won the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
So if you're gonna hype Ashton Jeanty for all he did, it's fair to say that the stat line that Russell Faison put up is just as comparable.
Right.
Well, it's not comparable to Ashton Jeanty, but it's just as legitimate as Jeanty's stats, and I think Faison could be. Rocket Sanders was really good for us.
Sure.
Faison could have a similar impact.
Yeah, and we really hope so, because they're being able to establish a run game, and this is cliche, but I mean it's crucial to the success of Lenore Sellers, because Lenore Sellers cannot be our run game.
No.
And he can be our run game.
Yeah.
But again, we're not going to be a successful long-term team with Lenore Sellers being the run game.
No.
So if we can establish something with a running back, just them having to be able just to purely respect it somewhat is going to open up doors that Lenore Sellers can kick down with his talent.
He's got another guy in the room with him, Oscar Adway, who was the RB2 last year and was very, very good.
Adway was extremely serviceable, and I think he still will be.
Yeah, North Texas transfer. If he was, if it had to be him as RB1, I think we'd be very happy.
I'd be okay. I would
We'd be okay. And it's a deep room. You've got a handful of guys. Some freshmen have come in.
Right.
Yeah. Deep running back room.
Yep.
Several other guys in there. Juwan Howell, Isaiah Augustov, Augustov, I think is how you pronounce that name. He's a transfer as well who just came in this year who could play some legitimate minutes for us. But, it's a room that has the depth that we need for a team that is going to, I think will still be 55-45, maybe even 60-40 run to pass.
You got to be able to run the ball in the SEC.
Got to, or else you're going to be really struggling. So, big part of running the ball is the guys you got up front. New center this year, transfer Boaz Stanley. You got left guard Nick Sharp, Marquis Anderson.
Right.
Could be one of those two. Your left tackle set, Josiah Thompson. He'll be a true sophomore. Was all SEC freshman team last year at left tackle.
Right.
He's a dog. Trayvon Ball or Rodney Newman Jr., who's a transfer. One of those two guys at right guard. And then you have Kason Henry coming back as your right tackle. So some familiarity, some new transfers. I think that's what the offensive line room is going to look like every year for the rest of college football history. That's what major college football teams are going to look like. They're going to look out. You're going to go out, try to buy some proven experience on the offensive line every single year.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the shape of the college football landscape now. The age of starting young and developing players is almost completely disappeared and has been nullified by the transfer portal and by NIL. You're going to have smaller institutions, smaller universities, and by small, meaning, a little lower scale, being able to go out there and pay decent, pay money to get some dudes up front.
Yeah.
And so being able to completely develop a kid, is going to be extremely, extremely rare. So I do agree, and that's not just going to be up front. That's going to be rosters in general.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of picking and placing when it comes to establishing a full roster.
Yeah. If you can get 2 guys from high school, 2 or 3 guys starting on your offensive line who you develop. So we have Josiah Thompson and Tree Babalade would be a guy who could maybe get minutes, Trayvon Ball, guys who started with us. And then obviously we've had some big pickups recently in high school recruiting. You get 2 or 3 guys to stick, and you can plug with a couple transfers every year, I think you'll be happy. So, the offensive line, it's everybody always looks at them as how many sacks you've given up.
Right.
It's a big deal how much running, how much they give you on the ground. But I do think maybe last year's offensive line was a little worse than it got credit for, because it's just 2 or 3 times a game.
Yeah.
What should be a sack is not a sack because Lenore Sellers is a freak.
Sure.
So I'm excited for their growth, but I do think it may be something that people aren't worried enough about. So we'll see. But we got Sean Elliott as offensive line coach.
There you go.
Oh, he's
tight end.
He's tight ends, but he's one of the best offensive line coaches around. So you have him on staff. You have some good offensive line coaches around. I have faith they can develop that room. Now we got to talk about the receiver room, which is the room that all offseason we're bringing in. People are listening. We got to have a transfer receiver. We need a transfer receiver. We need a receiver one. Coaching staff says otherwise. Yeah. What we'll do instead, we'll bring in 8 freshmen.
Yeah.
And we'll trust the guys we have on the roster. Nick Harbor, Jared Brown, Mazio Bennett, the top 3 returning receivers.
Yep.
They'll be, if we come out in a 3-receiver set to open the game, it'll be those 3 guys. Right behind them, you have Vandrevius Jacobs, who is returning, the 4th returning receiver. He'll get some run too. He didn't get a lot of run last year. He'll get a good bit of run this year. And then I have the roster out, so I don't forget all these freshmen because there's a ton. Donovan Murph, receiver from Irmo.
Right.
Ton of hype, 4-star,
Yeah.
Under Armour All-American, making great plays and highlights. I think you'll see him, and I think you'll see Brian Rowe Jr., or the 2 freshmen you'll see early and often out of that receiver room. You got a couple others, Lex Cyrus, who's a local kid, real stud. Malik Clark, really good receiver as well. And then, of course, everybody's talking about Jaden Sellers, Baby Sellers. I think you'll see every single one of those freshmen I just named play. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of red shirts out of that group of 8. Obviously, you can't play all 8 of them. Somebody's going to red shirt out of that group.
Sure.
But all out of those 5 that I just named, I think you'll see all of them next Sunday against Virginia Tech. And that's going to be a real exciting room.
It is going to be exciting. The biggest question I have going forward is, what did Nick Harbor's development look like? That's the biggest thing I have. Obviously, him spending a ton of time doing both last year. He was set on running track. He wanted to put a lot of time into that. thinking, that would kind of make him better overall as an athlete.
Yeah.
Which maybe that is the case overall
Yeah.
as an athlete, but when it came to
Freak.
production as a football player,
Yeah.
we had dropped off.
You got to get on the joke machine.
So, to him to be the specimen that he is,
Yeah.
matchup nightmare inside, in between the hashes. If he can, and which he put track away.
He did.
He said, I'm focusing on football. So to see what that transition looks like, to can he be a between the hashes dominant threat?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Kyle Pitts type body,
Yeah.
which is just an incredible asset to have. So
Yeah, he's a Kyle Pitts type body with the speed of a top tier wide receiver.
100%.
He is one of the fastest guys you'll see in a football game.
Yeah.
And straight line speed's great. Route running needs work. Hands needs work. He's had a full offseason now.
Right.
Just
So
football.
I'm excited. I'm excited to check him out.
So, yeah, I'm real excited. If Nick Harbor can upgrade even, a tenth of what he has been, he's going to be an absolute freak. He'll be a problem to deal with. He'll be a true number one wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy, mock drafts even feature him as a first-round guy.
Yeah,
just
so-
because he's
Upside.
he's a freak. He's one of those guys. Don't want to compare him to guys like Anthony Richardson, but he's a
Right.
guy. They call him the NFL Combine, the Underwear Olympics.
Uh-huh.
He'll kill the Underwear Olympics.
Right.
It will go out there and he will be the biggest freak at the NFL draft. He'll
Yeah.
run one of the fastest 40s. He'll do some of the most bench,
Mhm.
the longest jump. When they goes to catching drills, what
Right.
are we gonna see? So
What are we gonna
I'm
see?
excited for that. Another room that we're real excited about is the tight end room. Michael Smith played a lot as a true freshman last year. We're losing a little bit of production in that tight end room, but you're returning Brady Hunt, which is huge. He's a guy nobody talks about, and as a transfer last year, got hurt later on in the season, mid to late on in the season. He's a guy got a chance to go to a little luncheon where Shane Beamer spoke earlier this year, and that was one of the first names he mentioned in that tight end room that nobody's talking about enough. Brady Hunt will be probably the first tight end out. He'll probably be tight end one if they go in a one tight end set. He'll be out there. He's probably the best blocker in the room. He is probably the best possession receiver in the room. Then you got a guy like Michael Smith, who is a dog when it comes to being an athlete. He'll probably be overall maybe our second or third best option in the receiving game. He's going to be a freak. He made some great catches last year. Was a real impact guy last year. Brought in another experienced SEC guy, Jordan Dingle from Kentucky. So that's a room that's really deep, and it could be something where the tight end room upgrades. It's hard to say it upgrades because you lost Josh Smith, but it could be an upgrade.
Yeah, a lot of people don't entirely understand the significance of having a formidable tight end and what it does to an offense. If people know that you don't have a great tight end, say you have to come out in 10 personnel, when you have to base in 10 personnel, you are putting the entire amount of pressure on your offense to succeed on your wide receivers and quarterback, which is something that we can't do because we're over here sitting talking where's the production in our receiver room going to come from. So we have to be able to stay in 11 and run the ball and then use athleticism on the perimeter, right? So if we have a tight end that can do both, that can block for us to succeed in the run game, then it opens up the double facet of your offense, right?
Yeah. We have, I said Josh Smith. It's Josh Simon. I know where that came from. So losing Josh Simon will hurt. I mean, he was awesome last year, but Michael Smith was a very highly touted tight end prospect. Proved it last year. He'll pick up those reps. Brady Hunt's the guy. You mentioned it. We want to try to stay in 11 at least, one tight end on the field at all times to help with the running game. Or it's going to be a pro-style offense, We're coming from Mike Shula coming from the NFL game. He'll want to run a pro-style offense. Most pro-style offense try to keep tight end on the field somewhere, And that's something that, Brady Hunt, I think, will be the major impact there as the main tight end on the field, even though Michael Smith will probably be the better receiving tight end.
Yeah, I just think, offense is just better if you can live in 11, And you flip to 10, flip to 12, do whatever, but if you can successfully live in 11, then you're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, so the offense, feel pretty good about it. All right, you got a guy, I think there were 25, maybe 28 returning. It might not even be that many in the Power 4 total, which is like 70 colleges, 20 or 25 returning quarterbacks.
Wow.
And South Carolina got one of them. They have who I think is the best one of them.
There you go.
I'll put him over, Cade Klubnik's getting all the hype. We won't even talk.
He is getting an incredible amount of hype.
He's very, very good against ACC opponents.
There you go.
So I will try to be, we'll
No
see how
chalkboard material.
Yeah, I'm not. This is a South Carolina podcast,
Of
so
course.
I'm not worried about Clemson. But he's Cade, Garrett Nussmeier, Arch. I love Arch. I will say I do love Arch. I'll put Lenore Sellers over all of them. Lenore Sellers is my. We'll clip this.
Okay.
Lenore Sellers, I think, will be the first overall draft pick in the NFL draft.
Okay.
This time next year, he'll be 1-1. This is it for Lenore Sellers. Either way, Lenore, I don't think he comes back after this year. So enjoy him while we got him.
Yeah, and I think I'll piggyback with you. I do think when it comes to upside of all these guys, I think it's Lenore's, and I think it's one that's not getting enough love, and it's Lagway.
Lagway, that's the other one. I was trying to remember his name. DJ Lagway has a ton of upside.
So
that Florida jersey just reminds me too much of Anthony Richardson right now.
Fair enough.
It has a bit of a stain on it,
and some similar style to it.
There is a little bit, but he's a better passer. DJ Lagway is.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I think we could. I mean, we're gonna do our game-by-game projection.
Right.
There's a world where South Carolina does just have an insane season. Stars align, we make the SEC championship. If you got like a Sellers Lagway, that could be a really special.
That's ingredients to an expensive ticket.
That could be winner wins the Heisman type deal. So that'll be really exciting. South Carolina has a great setup on offense, and we have a guy who's just as exciting, if not more exciting, on the other side of the ball. So we'll start. Everything starts in the trenches in the SEC.
There you go.
South Carolina lost a ton in the trenches. We lost pretty much everything except for this guy. We have Dylan Stewart.
Yeah.
How much of an impact does having just one true, pin your ears back, go get the quarterback, defensive end? How much does that impact the other three guys on our 4-man front?
Well, it changes everything, and it changes everything defensively.
Yeah.
And I've been on record as saying this. I've told you this, and I will tell everybody in my coaching profession this until it's proven otherwise to me, and I don't think it's going to be. I think having a pass rush with 4 people is the most important asset a football team can have. So I'll get just to enforce what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Is that if you were to give me a choice between Lenore Sellers and having Kennard and Stewart last year, I'd want Kennard and Stewart.
Absolutely.
Because of how important it is for a defense. If you can get pressure on the quarterback with 4, you're going to win every football game. So I think having a pro edge at Dylan Stewart obviously is the first key to that. So then it moves on to who else can help him.
Yeah, that's major. And I think a lot of it last year. So Kyle Kennard, Bronco Nagurski Award winner.
Yeah.
Best defensive player in college football.
The whole country. But Dylan Stewart allowed that.
Dylan Stewart allowed that. How many times did Dylan Stewart take 2 or 3 guys, they're focused on him, either a guard and a tackle and then a running back chipping or a tight end chipping, and he's taking up so much attention that it freed up Kyle Kennard on the other side. So people are like, how are we going to replace Kyle Kennard? I'm like, it might be... Kyle Kennard's a stud.
Of course.
He, put his name. He only had 1 season. People are talking about putting his name on the stadium.
How about that?
Up there with Alshon and all the guys. And you know what? I don't hate it either. You put Kyle Kennard's name up there.
Defensive player of the year.
I'm not other than Clowney.
Right.
I don't know how many guys we've had ever to even be considered for that award.
And I guess this just shows how gifted and special we were last year.
Yeah.
How nobody was talking about Kyle Kennard the first 2 games of the season.
It was all about Dylan Stewart.
Everything was Dylan Stewart.
Yeah, it took because once teams figured out about him, freed up Kennard. The guy this year is going to be Brian Thomas Jr., who's a guy who's been here forever and was going to be the guy opposite Dylan Stewart last year until we got Kyle Kennard out of the portal from Georgia Tech. It would be wild to say that Brian Thomas Jr. will have more sacks than Dylan Stewart this year. But
after what we've seen, it's not.
Brian Thomas Jr. had 4.5 last year.
Right.
Opposite Dylan Stewart. And, Kyle Kennard had however many, You give him a full starter's rep of snaps on the defensive end. Brian Thomas Jr. could be a guy we're talking about I'll go on record. Dylan Stewart will be all SEC. I think Brian Thomas Jr. could be right there with him.
All right.
Because who else in the SEC has a guy like Dylan Stewart opposite them? How much easier does that make life?
It's
when you
unbelievable.
have
I'm telling, it's the best. It's the best asset you can have in football.
having a guy like that opposite you. It's insane. The big problem, you got other guys, Jataeus Greer, who's been there forever, Desmond Umeozolo. I think I pronounced that right. Sure. Donovan Darden's a dog. I believe he played at Anthony Addison is another guy you'll have off the edge. Real long, athletic freak freshman, Sumter High School. Got to see him in person last year. He's something different. You also have Jadavion's little cousin, Demon Clowney, who could make an impact off the edge, but Brian Thomas Jr. will be the guy opposite Dylan Stewart. The big losses are at defensive tackle. I think we lost, if you go down the depth chart, we lost our 2 starters, our 2 backups, and the 2 third-string guys on the defensive tackle. So had to go into the portal. You bring Nick Barrett. You have Nick Barrett back. And then you go get Monkel Goodwine, who could be a stud. Came from Alabama. He's a guy who was heavily recruited, big-bodied guy. You have 2 redshirt seniors at defensive tackle, but you lost so much production, so you had to bring in a lot of transfer. Troy Pikes, Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, Devontae Miles, and Xavier Hardy, who at one point was a Gamecock, transferred away or committed elsewhere, is back, and you have freshman Christian Ingram. So that defensive tackle room is the scariest room on the whole roster.
Yeah,
it's the room that I am most worried about.
Sure. And the thing about, our edges, all we need, and not even 2 of them, but 1 defensive tackle that can occupy a double team.
Just occupy a double team.
That if they can do that, you are allowing one of our edges to be able to work one-on-one.
Yeah.
And so if we can have just all we need is a formidable tackle.
Yes.
Which is why I'm not too worried about it because of how good we are at edge.
Yeah.
But, if it's nobody, then that's a problem.
So that's in the portal. The coaching staff did prioritize physical freaks who may not have the production, highly recruited high school guys who have not had great starts to their college career who entered the portal, and I think that's a big point of why it's you know what, we don't need you, we don't need the crazy production out of you. We just need you to be a physical freak like you are.
Right.
Hold up some guys, allow our edges to play free.
Yeah.
And then we can have a real freak situation there. So we'll go to linebackers. We lost a lot of production linebacker. Debo Williams, Demetrius Knight,
big time.
Bam Martin Scott. So losing a lot of linebackers is always scary.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
They're the captains.
It's the captains, the glue that holds your defense together. So, like I mentioned earlier, had a little luncheon, got to go listen to Beamer talk about the football team. He said we are bigger, faster, and more athletic at linebacker this year than we were last year. He didn't say we were better at linebacker, but he said everything but we are better at linebacker this year.
Right.
So you're looking at Fred J.R. Johnson, sophomore. He's going to play a ton of minutes. They stuck him, the roster currently has him stuck in the number 0 jersey. You don't give the number 0 jersey to nobody. He's going to be a guy. Sean Murphy's a transfer. Justin Okoronkwo from Alabama by way of Germany.
Okay.
Nick Saban recruited this man specifically because of his freakish athleticism.
Yeah.
If Nick Saban goes out of his way to recruit you from Germany,
right,
you're a ball player.
You can play.
You're a ball player. Or at least he thinks you can be a ball player.
Right.
So that's a guy, even if he doesn't make it in the linebacker rotation, he's going to be a guy on special teams. That's Justin Okoronkwo. Get used to saying that name. It's a funny one. Jerron Willis is another guy who could also play minutes in the linebacker room. So I think our linebacker room will be just fine. We tend to base in a 4-2-5. So we really only have 2. Sometimes we go 3-3-5. Typically 4-2-5, so you only have 2 of them on the field at a time. Fred J.R. Johnson, Sean Murphy, Justin Okoronkwo. I think those are the 3 names you'll hear the most. Really excited about that room. And the room that, I don't want to say I feel the best about it, but the DB room is real solid. Yeah. Always is at South Carolina. Any year you can go pick out a random year, we're going to have some really good DBs on the field at any given point. We have that again this year. We even kind of... It probably wasn't necessary, but it was just kind of like we can do it. Yeah. We went out and took a transfer in Brandon Cisse from down the road, Lakewood High School. Played his first 2 seasons up at NC State. Right. Great corner. He is going to start in this secondary either at corner or at nickel. And he is a tremendous, tremendous corner. Yep. Judge Collier is definitely going to be a starter. He started last year. Judge Collier will start at corner. Vakari Swain will be the other one who rotates in there. If if Bakari Swain, Brandon Cisse, Judge Collier, I expect all three of them to be on the field in our 4-2-5. One of them will be playing nickel. The safeties, my guess, well, DQ Smith's definitely going to start at safety. It'll be his 5th year, I think, starting at safety. 4th year, he's a senior. So he's a guy, he's not Nick Emenwari for sure. Mm-hmm. Losing Nick Emenwari is going to hurt. DQ Smith's going to have to fill in that role.
For sure.
I think they'll step him down closer to the ball.
Yep.
And they'll allow Judge Collier to be the other safety, kind of a little bit higher back. Because free safety, DQ Smith has been the free safety, playing a little more loose, has a tendency to get beat in coverage sometimes. Step him down a little closer to the ball, let him play a Nick Emenwari type role. Let a guy like Jalen Kilgore, I think I said Judge Collier, Jalen Kilgore would be the other safety.
Yeah.
And then his brother Gerald Kilgore will factor into that room as well. Mm-hmm. So the secondary is really, really, I think it's going to be another area of strength for the Gamecocks. And, if you have a secondary that can give the pass rush a little more time.
Tell you what.
Give this pass rush a little more time. And then a pass rush is like, we don't even need you to cover for that long. Like, just give us 3 seconds,
Yeah, and if we're able to be, confident on the back end, us just being able to add one more person to the pass rush and send 5, it completely changes, game planning, completely changes what quarterbacks are allowed to do and how they're able to get the ball out. So,
Clayton White definitely, he has a lot to work with. Mm-hmm. Clayton White, I almost feel bad for him because, we had a really good defense when he got here. Went through a period where the defense wasn't so good to the point where at the start of last year, people were like, why is he even here? And then now he's the greatest defensive coordinator to ever live in South Carolina fans' eyes, which is how South Carolina fans are. Very extreme. And at the end of the day, it's just he only worked with what he's dealt with, and he has a great deck of cards in front of him right now with his defense. So I'm very excited for our defense. And then with Beamer ball, you always got to talk special teams.
Why not?
We lost Alex Herrera.
Yep.
He waited his turn forever to be the kicker at South Carolina.
Sure did.
And he got his year and was very, very serviceable, was very, very good for his last year. And then lost Kai Kroger, which, that hurts.
It
Kai
does.
Kroger was here forever. He just won. He got named today. He's the starting punter for the New Orleans Saints. So he was that level of punter.
Kai Kroger has been a top 5 player on the Carolina football team.
Yeah, for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
We have a guy to replace him. Mason Love is an absolute stud, punting and kicking. He might. So this is another thing that Shane Beamer talked about at that luncheon. He can do all 3.
Right.
But the problem is the punter is normally the holder. He can't hold for himself.
No, he can't.
We lost our long snapper as well. It's more than just the kicker and the punter.
Yeah.
Long snapper Hunter Rogers, after his whole career being our long snapper. So you got a whole new battery. Cole Rasmussen was brought in as a graduate transfer as a long snapper, which is if you're going to get a long snapper in the portal, you're probably, not a lot of people go to the portal
that's
for a long
wild.
snapper.
That's a wild hunt.
So I don't know what the transfer portal situation is for long snappers.
Right.
Is it where you can just go pick a guy? If you could just go pick a guy who can come in and be a perfect long snapper, everybody would probably do it. So it is a little bit concerning.
Yeah.
A good special teams coordinator, I was listening to him talk the other day. He said it's 33% the snap, 33% the hold, 34% the kick. And if that first 66% doesn't go right, you're never going to get a chance to get the last 34. So you got to have, it's important. Cole Rasmussen could be the starting long snapper. It could also be Kyler Farrow or Gunnar Yoakum. They're all 3 mentioned by Beamer as guys involved in the race. But other kickers could be Max Kelly. He's a freshman. Peyton Argent and William Joyce is a punter. So Mason Love, I'm certain, will be our punter.
Okay.
I think Mason Love will be the punter.
Right.
As for can Peyton Argent or Max Kelly beat him for the place kicker or the kickoff spot, I don't know. Mason Love's a dog. He's a 5-star kicker coming out of high school. He was a dog, and he could do all 3. He's a redshirt freshman. I don't know. The last person to do all 3 for us, maybe never. I can't remember one.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are some guys that I can't recall. It's hard to recall anybody who's done it other than like Pat McAfee did both. I think he did both at West Virginia for a little bit. So it's going to be interesting. Return game, Jalen Kilgore, Nick Harbor, Gerald Kilgore could be a return guy. Mazio Bennett, Luke Doty is in the kickoff return game. So I will say, not to concern anybody about special teams at South Carolina, but Shane Beamer, when he spoke, said they had a special teams session, and you know, his son was at practice, and he asked him.
His own kid.
Asked him. He's like, "What do you think of special teams?" And his son came over to him. He's like, "Beamer ball is dying in front of our eyes."
Man,
oh
man,
that is.
That's unfortunate.
Beamer said he didn't think it was. He thought he was being a little dramatic.
Kids are honest.
Kids are honest. So, and his kid knows ball. So special teams could be a problem. I don't think it'd be a problem. Not under Shane Beamer at South Carolina. But that's our breakdown of the roster, position by position. We will go. This will drop on Tuesday, the 20s. Oh my God, is it the 26th? That's nuts. All right, Tuesday, August 26th. On Thursday, August 28th, we will do our game-by-game predictions for South Carolina's entire season. Give our final record projection, and then maybe talk about where we think we could make the playoffs, go bowling, whatever. And then on Saturday, the day before the game, we will release our Virginia Tech preview. So we will do that. It'll be out Saturday morning. We'll preview the whole entire South Carolina Virginia Tech game, and then we'll dive into some other stuff then. So that's it. That's episode 1 of the Saturdays and South Carolina's podcast. Give us a follow, drop a like, share it with your friends. We're gonna stick around. It's not just a football podcast. Bryce Jeffcoat has some very inside sources when it comes to Gamecock basketball season. So we will we'll go throughout all sports seasons. But for now, we're locked in on football. So drop a like, drop a follow.
Absolutely. And go Cox.
Go Cox, baby.